Well, hey, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears because you are listening to the newest episode of the Top 5 podcast. I had to think about that for a second. I'm quoting Shakespeare at the intro of this show. That's never happened before. I'm Chris McPeak, and I'm joined today by the illustrious, beautiful, world-traveling birthday girl, Annie Pruitt. Hello, Annie Pruitt. Really quick, before we dig into our topic, I would love for you to give us a quick overview of your epic journey to Europe.
Oh, yes. So it was Emily's high school graduation present. And, I've never traveled internationally for fun. So this was all of our first stamp on a passport because I don't count Afghanistan and Iraq. So her choice was Paris and London. So we started in Paris, and the big bucket list thing for her was going to the catacombs of Paris. And that was quite fascinating and creepy and quite just overwhelming because of how many bones and skulls you're surrounded by. So
yes.
That's amazing. And we did all the, the typical stuff, Eiffel Tower, the Louvre. And then we spent a day and a half at Omaha Beach and St. Mary Glees, the famous church that the 82nd Airborne parachuted into the night before D-Day. So we did a kind of a D-Day day, and then went on to London and got to go to see Shakespeare. So we went to the Shakespeare Globe Theater and saw Fame and other typical, did the, Buckingham Palace, saw all the sights and just had a really, really good time. Exhausting because we felt like we walked we actually did. We walked almost 10 miles a day, but it was glorious and wonderful. So thank you for asking.
I love it. Well, jealous girl here, as you know, I don't know if our listeners know, I've never been off the continent, and I don't really count Catalina Island as being off the continent, although technically it is off the continent, but it is still part of the contiguous United States of America. But yeah. I have goals, and I will travel to Europe one day.
Yeah.
There will be a very epic trip with my husband, and there will also be a very epic trip with my youngest sister, to which we are going to scope out all of the popular culture landmarks of wherever we decide to go.
And that'd be lovely.
Which made me think that there should be a show of late or at some point, because as I was thinking about asking you to talk about your trip to Europe, I was thinking about pop culture landmarks, like when you look at movielocations.com and you dig around where places were filmed and you think of, like, these are places I definitely need to go see. And so I started a list in my brain. So I don't know if you're down for that, but I would love to make that happen. Okay. So Annie, you're the birthday girl. What is our popular culture topic of the day?
So we're going to, this may end up becoming a series of podcasts, but today we're going to start with our top 5 favorite character actors.
And I think, when we talk about a character actor, in your brain, how do you define character actor?
Okay, so never the top billing, always in a supporting role, somewhat of a chameleon, because they can, you can plug them into any movie and they will just make it better. But again, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Always a groom, never a groom. So for this particular, so we're going to start with male character actors. And there's some other caveats. I went back through and double checked. So we're going to go with a couple extra, no Oscar winners.
No Oscar winners.
Yeah. And
ideally.
And basically cannot have won anything for lead acting.
Yeah. And again, this was a rule, if you want to call it a rule. It's a guideline. It's because Annie and I did not discuss this before we made our lists. So we made our list, and then I found these different articles on the web. I was trying to figure out how am I going to get men and women into the mix, and then so we did decide to split it, which I'm happy with that. But it's the person that I think of, a great character actor when you can picture their face and the character in the film, but what is that guy's name again? I'm just hanging on, I don't remember who the name is. And you usually definitely associate them more with the characters than with their individual stuff. And then I was also thinking, like you said, no top billing. And I thought, yeah, it's when they go through the cast and the opening credits, and then you see and Brad Pitt or with Brad Pitt or featuring Brad Pitt. So their names at the very, very end of the credits, regardless of whether they are, a big star or not. Because I think, at least today, you can be a big star and be a character actor. You just may not be known as a character actor.
Right.
Denzel Washington can try as hard as he wants ever, but Denzel Washington will never be a character actor. He is all leading man all the time.
Right.
Tom Hanks, I feel exactly the same way.
Right.
And Leonardo DiCaprio, I also feel exactly the same way, although Leo has done some very good character work.
Yes. Totally agree. I think we're
okay. You know what? I'm going to very quickly do a split off of here because I'm going to go to IMDb so that as we are rolling through our actors, we can also look at some of their filmography and kind of go, oh yeah, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
As I find myself doing all the time when I was putting the list together, it was kind of mind-boggling, like, holy crap. I can't believe this guy did all this stuff.
So I have all the filmographies for all my 5 plus my honorable mention. So I'm
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, since you are poised to begin, why don't you share with us your number 5?
Okay. So I'll start with number 5. And I'm sure that at some point he's like, perhaps I'm looking through his filmography. I can't see it anywhere where he's ever had top billing. So number 5 is John Turturro.
Ooh, yes. That's good.
Start with in 96 when he did the movie Box of Moonlight. I fell in love with him. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, and that's the movie that made me fall in love with Sam Rockwell. So it's it's not quite like leading man type of film, but the movie is about him. But Sam Rockwell to me was the true star of the movie. So but then you go and look at some of his other classic supporting roles where he is a chameleon. He can do anything.
Yeah, totally.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Collateral Damage, and then he can do comedy. You got Anger Management in there, and then there's so many other good ones. The Good Shepherd, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, always in a supporting role. He also does voice work with the Cars movie, so he's pretty remarkable. He is very much a chameleon. He can do any type of casting. He can do any type of role, and he is just quite remarkable. So that's my number 5, John Turturro. I really love everything I've ever seen him in.
That is a very inspired choice. And I'm thinking, yeah, he's a frequent Coen Brothers contributor and Spike Lee films to a certain extent, maybe not so much anymore, but he's gone down that route as well. Yeah. Excellent. Good one. Okay. My number 5 is Michael Shannon.
Oh, nice.
I think some people still don't completely recognize. Like I would say Michael Shannon, they would go, oh, who's that? So let's see. First film role goes back to 92. He was in Groundhog Day. He was in Jesus' Son, classic indie Billy Crudup film. Cecil B. Demented. He was in 8 Mile, where I think did he play a rapper in that movie? I don't know. I don't remember. He was in Bug with Ashley Judd, William Friedkin movie. He was in Revolutionary Road, which was an Oscar nomination, but he did not win. He played Kim Fowley in the Runaways movie.
Yes.
That's my favorite. Oh my gosh, so many. He was General Zod in the Man of Steel Superman movie. Yep. He's been on Boardwalk Empire. He's done some really great TV. He played Elvis in the Elvis and Nixon movie. Oh my God, so many things. And recently in the Waco and then Waco, the Aftermath series that is part Paramount, part Showtime. So he's everywhere. It is a little mind-blowing, all of the different things that he's done. But again, perfect example of chameleon, and not traditionally handsome, but kind of sexy too. So anyway, there you have it.
I like that. That's a good choice. And not a traditional, yeah, because you know, you would recognize him, but people would know, oh, his name is Michael Shannon.
Totally.
Okay, my number 4 is, and probably again has probably had top billing in a film in his lifetime, but the reason he's one of my favorites is because he always has a supporting character actor role in the movies that he does. So
Wow.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yes.
Begins with One Flew of the Cuckoo's Nest because he is like a family favorite of, like, we all love Jack Nicholson, but honestly, Tabor's, you know, he wins our heart.
Yes.
He's, you know, he's in, of course, he's, you know, Doc Brown in the Back to the Future movies, and then he's Uncle Fester in the Addams Family movies. He's, you know, he did the Who Framed Roger Rabbit and played an actual tune. So, but he can do anything. He can do comedy, he can do drama, he can do film, he can do television, theater, you name it. And he shows up, I mean, shows up in the most oddball of roles, but he's wonderful, and he can tear your heart out and also make you like pee yourself laughing so hard. So that's why I love Christopher Lloyd. I will always love him because he'll always be my Tabor.
Yes.
So,
Oh my gosh. A goofy guy for reals. And yeah, he's another one that shows up in weird places. And that's Christopher Lloyd. What is he doing in this movie?
oh my God, look how young he
I know. Look how green I look.
Yeah.
Okay. My number 4 is James Cromwell. And talk about, again, this is somebody that, like, okay, if you were to just randomly pick 5 movies and 5 television shows out of a hat, James Cromwell would probably have had a role in at least one of them.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy where this man has been all over the place. Talk about an actor with a very long filmography, and he's getting up there in age, and he's only had one Oscar nomination, never a win. He goes back to 1974 when he was on the Rockford Files. Not very long. He was in Police Story. He was on MASH, Three's Company, so a lot of TV. I'm trying to think of what might have been the breakout movie for him. Looking for him. The Explorers. He was on Magnum PI.
Deep Impact.
He was in Romeo's Bleeding.
The Green Mile.
Picket Fences, The Client, Eraser. My favorite, some of my favorites are, he played Dudley Smith in LA Confidential. Complete bastard. He was General Campbell and the General's Daughter, also complete bastard. He's been on 24. He was Jack Bauer's dad, again, total bastard. And most recently, he is on my current favorite show, and that's Succession, where he plays Ewan Roy, the brother of the, oops, do I dare say it? I can't say it. You haven't watched season 4 yet, have you?
I've seen it all the way through. But
okay. I won't spoil it for the others, but something did happen recently in an episode that just kind of made me go, wait a minute. Why is this happening now? Anyway, yeah, James Cromwell is great. And he's done so much stuff. And he's quite a distinguished looking fella. Babe, he was in Babe, which I didn't see because I just wasn't all about the talking pig thing. But, you know, I've heard he's very good in it. So whatever.
The Green Mile, that's one of my favorite because he has his character, like what the character is going through. Oh, yes, he's wonderful. Yeah. Nice, good show. Good pick.
Thank you.
Okay. It's at some point I have a feeling there's going to be one that we both have. So we'll drive on. Okay, my number 3 is Kevin Pollak. So
oh my gosh, Annie, that is super inspired. I love it.
So the movie A Few Good Men would not be the same without him right? And then the Grumpy Old Men movies where, you know, he's the son of the grumpy old of Jack
Walter
Lemmon.
Matthau? Jack Lemmon.
One of them. And then you've got The Usual Suspects, which he's fantastic. He's in Casino, That Thing You Do, End of Days, whole 9 yards. And these are all of these like supporting roles. And he just, whatever he's in, he just brings something to the screen that makes the film or the TV show better.
Yeah.
Even like the one, like he did an episode on Law and Order SVU, and he made the show better. So, but really, he's one of my favorites, my all-time favorites, because I love how he pulls it off in A Few Good Men, and how he stands up for, you know, for both his best friend and also for what he believes is right. So yeah. Kevin Pollak, he's phenomenal.
He is phenomenal. Yeah, boy, and I had forgotten about how he and Demi Moore kind of, you know, butt heads on the, you know, why do you hate them so much? Why do you like them so much? Right. And of course, who can forget, I have absolutely no responsibilities here whatsoever.
Yes.
Which I have in fact used in conversation at times. Oh, yeah. Got any Kung Pao chicken? That's a great one, Annie. And you know, another cool thing about Kevin Pollak is I think he has a comic background. I'll have to look that up. But he can be quite comedic.
He's done stand-up. He's very funny.
Yeah, he is very funny. For reals. Okay. My number 3 is the fantastically versatile and yet still managing to be the same guy, if not the same guy, and that's Luis Guzman. And again, I would take the James Cromwell challenge. You could pull 5 movies, 5 TV shows out of a hat, and Luis Guzman is probably in one of them. One of my favorite roles of his was when he played Louise Valentine in Q&A, which is one of my favorite urban cop movies, Sidney Lumet movie from 1990. He was also in, let's see, what else do we have here? Mr. Wonderful, Carlito's Way. He played Pachanga. And then he's been in a handful of Paul Thomas Anderson films, most notably Boogie Nights, where he played Maurice T.T. Rodriguez. And he was in Out of Sight, Magnolia. He's been on Oz. He was in Traffic, The Count of Monte Cristo, Punch Drunk Love. There's just a ton of things. And the big one that makes me smile the most, now I can't find, Carlito's Way, duh. Can't forget about Carlito's Way. Yeah, I love him. He's funny. He's kind of the bumbling sidekick, but the super loyal or in some cases not loyal colleague, contemporary. And yeah, I mean, he's everywhere. He has 165 credits to his name, and he's got currently 8 things that are in production or pre-production, like pending release. So yeah, I mean, the man is all over the place.
Yeah.
Another funny one, but very, very necessary in whatever dialogue he's been given. So yeah, he's one of my faves.
And so that's funny that you selected him, because I just watched, because of how much I love Jason Sudeikis, I watched We're the Millers again. And he just has this little bit part as a cop, but what he brings to the movie with that particular scene, he's quite, he can show up even just for 30 seconds on screen and completely take the movie away. So yeah, great pick. Yeah,
thanks.
Okay, my number 2 is, I love this guy, but not because I'm a Harry Potter freak, Alan Rickman.
Love it.
So yes, everybody knows him probably mostly from the Harry Potter movies, but I'm going to go, the people like of our generation, he will forever be Hans Gruber, live in our heart, Die Hard, which is your favorite Christmas movie. And then, of course, he's in the Robin Hood movie with Kevin Costner, and he's fantastic in that one.
Yes.
But he also can really do comedy. So between Dogma and Galaxy Quest and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, he's hysterically funny. And then he'll go and rip your heart out with Love Actually. So he's amazingly and may he rest in peace. I was so sad when he passed away. But just what that guy brought to the screen with his different performances, because he's just dynamic. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Alan Rickman is my number 2.
That is a very inspired choice. I loved him in Bottle Shock, that cute little movie about the wine stuff with Chris Pine. And there's, this is the true story that, put California wines on the map competition, and they beat out the French. And Alan Rickman, if I remember correctly, is a snooty British taster or something like that. But he adds some serious like oomph to that.
Yeah.
Legitimacy of what's going on in that story, because Chris Pine and his family, they're a bunch of hippies, and
I need to see that.
the wine thing for them is just all about getting drunk and stuff. It's very charming.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah. Now, and this is where I had to well, he has had a lead role because he played the bar owner of CBGB's
Right.
in the movie CBGB. So he has had like lead roles, but everything that I love him, and he's always a supporting character actor.
I completely agree with you in that realm. Definitely known for more character roles. All righty. So it's me, number 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My number 2, and we're going classic Hollywood now. So we're going way back.
Okay.
But I could not put him on the list, regardless of like where we wind up going with this series, if we make it a series, which I think we're going to make it a series. And this is Claude Rains, who is most known as, in my opinion, Captain Louis Renault in the Casablanca movie. Looks like the beginning of a beautiful friendship and round up the usual suspects. But yesterday I was watching Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, because we were kicking around, a patriotic film thing.
Yeah.
And there's Claude Rains showing up right there. He's been in Now Voyager. He's been in a ton of things with Betty Davis, which I didn't know. Mr. Skeffington, Caesar and Cleopatra, Notorious, Deception. So a handful of Hitchcock stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there were years where he made like six films.
Right.
And he'd pop up these little, small things. Here comes Mr. Jordan, the Seahawks. So yeah, he's been all over the place.
Well, he is the Invisible Man after all.
Yeah. Super. Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that. That is a movie of his I have not seen. Yeah. And he's Prince John in the Adventures of Robin Hood. So yeah, we can do it all. And just the comic relief he can bring to a film, like in Casablanca. But, he can also play a really creepy, nasty asshole guy.
Yeah.
So classic Hollywood, funny, stingy, mean, nasty, all of the things. But I could not move forward with this list without putting him on it. So there you go.
Yeah, great pick, because that was a potential for me.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you my honorable mention.
Yes.
So my honorable mention is gonna have to be Ned Beatty.
Oh, yeah, good one, Annie. Golly.
Everybody will forever remember his performance in Deliverance, but also you have, he's in Superman, he kind of steals the movie in certain points for me.
Oh my Lord, yes.
And then of course, being the dad and Rudy, but the one that sticks out for me the most is, he's in the movie The Toy with Richard Pryor and Jackie, which is a family favorite, and we've talked about on the podcast before. Wow. But just fantastic. He's done horror movies, he's done comedy movies, he's done drama, and he's always just that one actor that you're going to put in to take a role it's going to be hard. It's going to have, something, there's going to be something challenging about it. And Ned Beatty's going to come along and just fix it and make it perfect. So he's my honorable mention.
That is a great one. Super inspired. My favorite Ned Beatty performance, I guess, not movie, but performance and movie. Granted, The Toy is up there on the list, and we have talked about that before, but he gives a very pivotal, powerful monologue in Network. He plays Mr. Jenkins. I can't remember the character's name now, but the big network guy that Robert Duvall's character is trying to impress. And there's a very important speech where he, talks Howard Beale through the whole, like, your message is important and you won't change it, even though our ratings suck. So yeah, there you go. Good one. Okay, my honorable mention is going to be Keith David. Now,
Ah,
not to be confused with
with
David Keith. I have often had to remind myself who is who. And I did
yeah.
not know this, but Keith David, the African American actor we've seen in, oh my God, let's go way back to Platoon.
Oh God.
And he was in, I want to say he was in Men at Work with the Estevez Sheen brothers,
You
Dead
guys.
Presidents, Clockers, The Quick and the Dead, Reality Bites. He has a
Mm,
role in Reality Bites.
yep.
Final Analysis. I mean, yeah. Bird. He was in Bird in 1988. There's so many freaking movies this man is in. The creepiest to me is the character that he plays in Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
Pretty nasty. And I didn't know this about him until I was Googling him, but he is a graduate of Juilliard. And that's like super cool to me.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, yeah, if we want to talk about David Keith, David Keith is most known for playing Richard Gere's best friend in Officer and a Gentleman.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like he deserved to be on the list. But Keith
Oh,
David, there you go.
right. And of course, Platoon being like the first big like standout role that
Oh yeah.
he's had, but I loved him so much in Dead Presidents that
Mhm.
I went back and rewatched like his earlier films. So I rewatched Platoon just to look for Keith David in the
Yep.
movie because I loved like he was crazy good. So yeah. I've going looking through his filmography. He again a guy who can do comedy, drama. He can make you cry, and he can be that just that one little bit role that's going to take the scene away and make you laugh your ass off. So
Yeah, totally.
okay, I really hope we don't have the same number one, but it's possible.
It is entirely possible. So I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
yeah.
just put my brain into it. I'm ready, Annie. Just hit me.
All right, Steve Buscemi or Steve
Oh,
Buscemi, or you want to pronounce it. I don't know how people pronounce it. So back when we were in college together and I watched Reservoir Dogs for the first time in my life, I fell in love with Steve because he's the most interesting looking and the most like prolific, squirrely, wormy, like little shithead, but he can also play this very, very endearing, wonderful, heartwarming person. So between his work with Tarantino, with Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs, but then when you go back and some of the other films that he shows up in Miller's Crossing, he shows up in Slaves of New York, Broadway, Bloodhounds of Broadway. He's just like one of those guys that you don't realize how much he contributes to films. And then he shows up in like Armageddon, and like seriously, you just love him and you're rooting for him.
mhm.
And he's not, when you see him on the screen, he's not handsome by any stretch, but then the longer you watch him, there's just something about him that
Yeah.
kind of makes you fall in love with him. And probably the greatest thing about him was his role in Fargo. So just he's just fantastic. So he's my number one. Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi.
Annie, brilliant call. Absolutely brilliant call. And you will either be pleased or not pleased to know that he's not my number one. He didn't
Okay.
even make my list. That's kind of silly and embarrassing, but nonetheless, that is what happened. So, what happened to my guy? Okay, my number one is JT Walsh.
Ah,
First time I ever saw JT Walsh in anything was when I watched House of Games that came out in 1987. David Mamet play, and or maybe it wasn't a play, maybe it was just a movie. House of Games is one of my very favorite movies ever in the history of my life. And I keep forgetting that it is
yeah.
because it's so obscure and not a lot of people know it. But he kind of came into that David Mamet world with people like Joe Mantegna, William H. Macy. But he's, gonna pop up in movies and you're not gonna expect it, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember that he was Sergeant Major Dickerson in Good Morning Vietnam, and then he was in The Grifters, he played Cole Langley, he was in Misery, he's in Backdraft, he plays Martin Swayback. Of course, he's Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Andrew Markinson in A Few Good Men and Fitzsimmons in Hoffa, but then just goes on to do a handful of these other, small roles in big movies like The Client, Last Seduction, Outbreak. He plays John Ehrlichman in Nixon. And my favorite, my very favorite is when he did, some folks call it a Sling Blade short film that Billy Bob Thornton created that eventually became the feature film Sling Blade. And he plays the creepy, I guess you want to call him an inmate at the mental hospital. So yeah, I mean, he's done some amazing little works. Like, he can be in a movie for 7 minutes and that's enough.
Yeah. I can't believe that I'm thinking about Kevin Pollak in A Few Good Men and I didn't think about JT Walsh. That's embarrassing. Okay. Yeah. Because after he passed away, in the movie Pleasantville, which was his last film that was released.
Oh yeah.
I loved him so much. And so, when he passed away and then the movie was released, it was like, oh my God, we are going to miss him so much because he's so good.
Yeah.
He is so good.
He is so good. Yeah. And I think a lot of stage stuff too.
Yeah.
So neat.
Yeah. What a wonderful. You know what? I really like our list. So now I feel
do too. Yeah. We've had no repeats.
Movies. Yeah. And for as much as we have in common with favorite movies, but that is wonderful. So definitely this is going to become a series because now I know that there's other character actor themes we can pull out of this idea.
Yeah. So if you have an idea for a character actor top 5 list that you'd like to pitch us, you can email us at hello@thetop5podcast.com, or you can, check out Instagram, Christmas Peak, or go to thetop5podcast.com. That is our website. JT Walsh was only 54 years old.
I know, so sad.
And that's kind of freaking me out because I'm 55. So holy shit. Wow. All right, Annie, let's recap. Give us your rundown.
Okay, so honorable mention was Ned Beatty. I almost said Ted Beatty. Ned Beatty. And then from 5 to 1, John Turturro, Christopher Lloyd, Kevin Pollak, Alan Rickman, and Steve Buscemi. I
think I say Buscemi.
Yeah.
It's right. But my honorable mention was Keith David, not to be confused with David Keith, Michael Shannon, James Cromwell, Louise Guzman, Claude Rains, and JT Walsh.
I love it. What a great
there you have it.
That was a great list.
Great list. Yes. And again, let us know if you have theme ideas to where we can take the next character actor conversation. So thank you for downloading this week's episode. I'm Chris, she's Annie, and until next episode, we will catch you on the flip side.
Love it. See ya.